Right. I think I've eventually got this working. Need to get this up on my phone so I can see the chat, see if anyone's saying anything. Say hello or something in the chat if you can hear me. There's a bit of a delay there. Anyway, just going to draw the kit from the 2010-2011 season, which was a kit I designed for the club. So really I'm just looking for you guys to ask any questions in the chat or anything like that while I'm going through it. And we'll see what happens from there. Sort of on you guys to ask us questions, otherwise it's just going to be me sitting here drinking a coffee, you guys getting some nice sound effects. So I'll just get started. So this is the default little template that I start with all the time, for all my kits, no matter what I'm doing, but that's just there to look good for the moment. So what I'm going to do is going to go and get some pictures of it just so I can work from it. So to do that's got Chrome up at the moment. Go here, so get it on Google Images, just get a few pictures of the kit up. You see, the problem with this kit is I've done this before, there doesn't actually seem to be that many pictures of it when you go for it. There's a good one. Is that the one I put up as my profile to begin with? That's Eremenko, isn't it? So copy that, bring it over, and just have that sitting out to the side over here. See if there's any other ones. What games did we play in that were going to be easily findable? Oh, there's a good one. Stephen Old. No, it's not coming up as high res. No, it's SNS pics, that's why. No, I'll copy that one over and talk about that in a second, because that is a prototype shirt that I put up on eBay a long time ago. So this is some sort of website that copies listings off of eBay, but I'll copy that over. That was like a version 1 of this shirt. You can sort of see where things are coming from, where the sort of designs are the same, like same sort of stripe width, and then that same sort of like V shape down the side, apart from it was asymmetric in that version. But grab that and talk about that. I've got my sound on my phone, that's where I'm going to be reading the chat if anyone's going to be saying anything. I'll take that just so I'm getting the size and the stripes and the logos right. It's not great. You know, I've got this shirt sitting upstairs. That probably would have been a better option, to be honest with you. So there's the historical kits version of the kit. Now, I try and keep away from historical kits where possible, because Dave Moore, who does historical kits, he's usually spot on, but there's definitely some mistakes in the Kilmarnock tops over the years. Some of the 80s stuff's just off entirely. So there's a better picture of Eremenko in that kit. Oh, is that an even better one below down there? I take that one. That was a good high-res photo. Now, the kit itself, not really complicated, to be honest with you. So it shouldn't really take that long to draw. Stick that in there. You can't see it at the moment, but I'm just putting all these pictures into Adobe Illustrator just so that I can refer to them. You've just got the Chrome window up at the moment. What was the socks like for this? I know I designed it, but like, look at this picture here. Got completely blue socks, but then there's again completely blue socks against Celtic. That might have just been something that we had to do against them. But then here's another version where it's blue, white tops, 1869 across the bottom of it. There was always big problems with 1869 in the socks. Maybe you'll remember there was like 3 or 4 seasons where we started the season in different socks than we're supposed to, and then we ended up switching a couple of games into the season. It was a pain in the backside. They were against, is that St Mirren? White tops. Usually I've got to sit and think maybe for a little bit what player I'm going to put in these shirts, but I don't think there's going to be any doubt I'm putting Eremenko in this one. Every single picture is just of Eremenko. Right, let's go back to Illustrator. So there we go. I've got some of the shirts up there. I'll put that last one I got there just so we can have a look. What I think I'll do is I'm going to go into my original files when I designed this kit first time around. I've already got them open. Is this it? No, that's previous one. Design kits, Killie. No, you're not seeing any other ones that are a bit later dates. Here, home, final design. No, that's what we did go for. So here's the original Illustrator file from way back in 2010. That was the socks that I went for, so not the all blue ones, the blue ones with the white tops. That's the ones that we went for in the end. So as well, I'm trying not to go with my original drawings as well, because they are probably going to have ended up being slightly different from what we actually had, although this one doesn't look too bad, to be honest with you. The Verve logo obviously ended up being different. I think some of the original versions of it, if I go back into the files, are probably going to have Small World on them. Yeah, there's an original version of it there. I've just realised you can't see the file explorer when it comes up, so I'll just open these up as they come along. So there's like a version 1 of it. From the very start it was this sort of arrow shape that ended up being along the side. That was something that came from Michael Johnson originally, the chairman. A couple of seasons before, so not the season before that had the little gold flashes on the shoulders, but the one before that, the dark blue collar and little detailing and stuff like that, ended up having sort of an accidental horseshoe shape on the side, and Michael Johnson at the time really liked how that turned out, and he wanted to have another shape that went up the side, but on purpose this time. So he was obsessed with arrows. I remember coming away from sort of the first meeting about designing this top, just Michael Johnson had just been talking about arrows all the time. Let's see what else I can find. That was an original one. It's a version with blue sleeves. So here, well, I'll talk about this top actually. So this one that I've just opened up just now was the shirt that I had the picture of. This one actually got made. This was another one of the original ideas for it, so I'll just grab that so I can talk about it while they're both on the screen. Such high resolution. So there was always a few prototypes made for each one. This was sort of my original look at this top about what we should do with it and what this arrow shape that Michael Johnson wanted should be. It was 2010 was like right in the height of sort of asymmetric designs. It's what a lot of the big manufacturers were doing as well at the time. So I actually think the real idea from that, about this sort of sweeping line coming from the left hand side, was, I think I originally came up with that idea from a Callie Thistle kit, but don't quote us on that, and maybe one of you can go digging about and find what kit I'm talking about. So it would have been about that time, 2010, maybe a little bit before that. But it was the designs that people thought were smart at the time. When I originally got asked to do the Kilmarnock kits, it was an asymmetric design that I'd put on the KillieFC forum that had been sort of noticed by the club and got me into this in the first place. It was based on who was it? It was a Udinese top, because we'd just gone. We weren't with 1869 yet. We were with Lotto, so everyone was going and looking to see what the Udinese tops were going to look like, because they play in black and white stripes. And I think that's how it got started. I photoshopped a few of those with the Small World logo on them. Killie logo took off whatever Udinese's sponsors were, and then sort of came up with some similar designs on Photoshop and Moan. Things have got a bit more complicated since then, just doing photoshops on templates, but that's how I started out. It was when the club used to look at KillieFC and they saw what I was putting up there, and I was fortunate at the time when I was putting up the Lotto stuff that we were moving to 1869 the next year and taking on our own contract and manufacturing our own kits. Otherwise it's something that I just never would have been able to do. So anyway, that was one idea for that, but manufacturing wise it was just a lot easier to have it symmetric. I think off the top of my head I remember some excuse to do with how that design wouldn't be able to transfer easily between sizes. Sorry, I've got a coffee here. And like just to be clear in this isn't something that I do as a job. It's not something that I'm trained in. It was a very much learn about this as you go along sort of idea. So I didn't know anything about things being transferable down different sizes. I still don't really, but it's something that I do try and keep in mind. Anyway, so we'll close that. That's not of interest to us just now. Just really want to get this top drawn up. I was hopefully going to see if I could finish this by 9 o'clock, but it took me so long to get this thing started. I think I ended up doing about 5 different streams before I was able to get the right one away. So we'll start then. Usually start with just sort of the seams. Don't bother with the stripes or the pattern at the moment. You'll see how I sort of put these images together when we go through it. So things we've got to do here is looking to see if it's the shoulders go up and meet the collar, whether they just go straight up. I remember one of those terms is raglan, but I can't remember what the other one is. And for this one here, it was just no nonsense sleeves. So on my template I've already got the no nonsense sleeves, so that's something that I'm not going to have to change. But there was no sort of underarm part to this, so that'll be job number one. We'll go in and we'll get rid of those, so that is not there. I think I'll leave the collar to last because the collar is going to be the slightly more complicated version of this. In fact, I'll change this before I forget it. The collar is a big floppy collar, so I have to go into one of my little settings down here and play about with the outline, because you'll notice I've closed it now. Oh no, here we go. I just used the same basic outline at the top, up here, up at the collar, and it just doesn't look like a 3D collar there, so I had to change that in my templates. That's something I've changed as I've sort of been doing this for longer. So change that to that. That looks awful for just now, but we'll get that sorted a bit later on. So you can see how that's going to sort of really push out the collar a little bit and make it look more like it is actually a big floppy collar. I like big floppy collars, that's why this top had one of those. That was something I pushed for. So that's the exact same photo. So you can see there was a few different things going on down here at the cuffs. Cuffs is what I'll go for next. So there was a white section with some gold piping, and then that went into the arrow section. So we'll get that done. So I might be more quiet when I'm doing all these little bits and pieces. Offset that line a little bit from there. Delete, not enter. What I really want is, just with the style that I do these in, I use quite thick outlines, and that's kind of the style I picked, so I'm kind of stuck with it now because I've done so many kits in it, but it's a bit of a pain in the backside. So what I'll do is I'll make one of the edges of that dotted line, and it means that we're actually going to be able to see some colour in that little bit of pipe in there. So go back to that. What I'll also do is I'll probably make the V shape out of dotted lines as well. So you can sort of see it in the kit there, but the lines aren't exactly not that one. The lines aren't exactly straight. Yeah, you can see it in the original drawings. There's a slight curve to it in both of them to sort of mimic what was going on down here. Just bringing the curves in. Oh, that's going to be really annoying, that bit as well. Gold piping. Why did we go with gold piping? So let's look at the actual top. Yeah, that was totally separate from that. So we will. Yeah, we're still on seams. And then we'll bring that into about there. Curve it a little bit, just to accentuate that curve. That looks alright. Let's just go back, have a look. That might make it a little bit too far up the sleeves actually. Yeah, possibly. So I'll bring it down, back in a little bit. Back towards the cuff. Whoa. Bring it back in a little bit. And we'll do the white as well. Was it? Yeah, quite narrow down here, but a bit higher further up. I think what we'll do is we'll bring this down a little bit, because that's not really sort of giving us quite the right shape. That's maybe a little bit. I think that's curved enough. Let's curve it a little bit more. Yeah, that looks about right. Now we just want to copy that over on both sides. So I've got. What are you on about? Why is that so? Oh, right, okay, I know why that is. So simplest way of copying that over is to get rid of this, and just copy this whole section over. We'll group that together. Flicked. And then I've got that little section down there. So that should end up being okay, I think. So like I said, before we go into the stripes and the colours and stuff like that, it's all about getting the seams right first of all. Oh, this is going to be a right pain in the backside, this. They ended up going quite far up the side. Almost up to the armpit, so... And then... Where's that good one? But they didn't come in that far, to be honest, did they? What did it look like in the original drawing? Yeah, I think we'll go with roughly what I've got there, I think. Yeah, we'll go with that. So, we will draw a line about there to about there and give it a little curve. I need to go up a little bit. Yep. And then a little bit further down from there to about there. Does that look about right? That's going to bring it. Is that... You see, I've got that coming way too close into the middle of the kit, I think. It never came in that far. And then I was kind of throwing that out a little bit, but then that went all the way up there. See, this is the problem with drawing the kits, is I'm not drawing them like the actual shape of them like they were. I'm trying to sort of draw them how they looked. And that causes issues. Do you know what? We'll go back. I think that works better for the way it looked. We'll see how it ends up looking with the stripes, and then I can start again. So any piping that I do on my kits, just as a sort of standard, I try and keep it 4 pixels across. There's no real reason for that. It's just to try and keep a bit of uniformity in what I'm doing. So what we'll do now is just match this up with the side of the kits so that it's not an overlapping line. So I'll get rid of these now. Again, for now I'm just going to keep these as dotted lines and see how it looks when I change them. Otherwise the black line's going to stand out a little bit too much, and it's just going to make it look like it was black piping rather than gold piping. Yeah, that doesn't look awful. I think that's going to be okay. Right, let's just bring that into here, just so that I can move the whole thing easier to the other side and reflect it. Wait, what happened there? Reflect. Why is it reflecting at an angle? Can't remember what I was doing. It meant I had to do that. So now we've got both of those over on the same side. We can sort of zoom out a little bit, see what's going on here. So I think, just looking at it, I think some of these lines need to be solid just to fit in with what the rest of the kit's like. So if I go for those, in or out? Yeah, let's go out. Both the outer ones. And just pick the same density as that, opacity as that. And that doesn't look too bad compared to what we have. Obviously the collar's still not a match up, but that's not looking bad. That's a good start. So excellent. Let's go into the collar then. So first of all, let's get rid of that little collar. Actually, no, I don't want to get rid of that. I want to hide it for just now. That's probably the best thing to do. Right, the collar. How are we going to do this? Right, let's get rid of all that jazz. And it took me a long time to sort of figure out how to draw floppy collars. You can see in those original ones that I had up earlier, they just look absolutely terrible. They don't look like collars at all. So that, I mean, what on earth is that? Did I get it better by the real drawing? Nope, still pretty bad. There's the Season Afters kit. I'll explain why I've got that in a second. Oh, here, this is a floppy collar. Looks a little bit better. I'm still not brilliant at it, but it does look a lot better than what it was. That's on the away kit for the 2010 kit as well. That was the away kit for it. It got kept on another year, and we won the League Cup in it, which was not bad at all. Right, so got that coming from the top of the floppy collar now, so let's have a look. So there was a little gold section. Maybe shorten that a little bit. Little, oh no, I said join. Perfect. Little gold section. Just roughly have a guess about how a bevel miter. How thick I want that. Probably going to be about 6 or 7 pixels. Let's see how that looks. So that's the, I'm drawing the underneath of the collar first. I'm drawing that little gold bit that's underneath the actual floppy part of the collar there, and then I'll cut that away once I draw the floppy collar on top of it. And then it was pretty floppy collar, like it was about there. We'll probably have to start doing it, so draw it up just a little bit like that, just to give it the sort of shape of it being a collar, and then we'll make that like that, make like that, and that, believe it or not, is gonna roughly be the shape of the collar. I'll get rid of, let's have a look actually, does it need to be even floppier than that? Possibly. Nah, we'll stick with that just now. Definitely didn't have a sharp edge though, that's why I've got it rounded on the other one as well. Okay, we'll get back into this and get rid of all the bits that we do not want. So that is going to end there. Then we can just mirror it on the other side, so get rid of the rest of it. All that over here. That, bye. See ya. And you can see what we're left with now. Yeah, that collar's going to be okay. I might end up changing that later on once I've thought about it a little bit. It does look a little bit small. Just join those together and make them look okay. And the back of it will just make sure that we've got the back. Copy that over. That's way too high, too low even. Oh Lord, no. That's a bit better, I think. There we go. It looks really short at the moment, doesn't it? We'll stick with that. We'll stick with that for just now. Yeah, we'll go with that. Right. Now is when it's going to start really looking like it's coming together, hopefully. As I'm going to paste this over here. I am going to get rid of these and get rid of all the lines there, because now we're going to be colouring it in and trying to make it look a little bit better. So we'll start with white, because the majority of it was white. Yes, shut up, go away. And then what actually ends up being a bit of a tricky part, sort of picking the right blue. That's not bad. That's probably a little bit light. Bit that. That's too light. Go with that. We can change. That's easy enough to change afterwards. So that's blue. They were blue down there. And it's probably gold we're looking for next. So the gold, well, in that one it looks really washed out. I wonder if that's a little bit further into the season, because that was another thing that was popular around those times, that sort of gold, metallic gold material that was being used in a lot of kits then. So it was here, it was like, oh, it's not, it doesn't look right at all. Oh no, it looks okay. There and there, and it was on this little bit here, that little bit there. See, all starting to come together. That there. Cut that. Then want to paste that into the colours section I've got there, and it's starting to look a little bit better now. I do think that colour's a little bit low though. I think that's something I'm going to have to change later on. Right, now for the stripes. So I want to use a little mask for that one, so paste that for just now over here. That's the sort of shape of the material panel. How many stripes did we have? So copy, copy, copy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7. Just bring them all together now. And then that was stupid because I've made the background white and I don't need most of them. I only actually need 3. Excellent. Make those the same blue as what we've got over here. Don't have any shadows on, so that's alright. Take that and put it on top of this, and as if by magic we have ourselves a little mask there. Now they were much narrower than that. How much narrower are we talking? Like that? We'll bring that over at the real kit and have a look and see what looks good for that. That's not bad. That's not bad. Let's have a look. One thing about the 1869 kits, I think every single season, I think the stripes were the same width. I think it was the same material that was used every single year. Same colour blue, same stripe thickness. They just rotated between whether it was the middle stripe that was blue or white. A little bit thinner, I think. Maybe make them a little bit narrower. actually. But that's going to mean that we'd have another blue stripe appearing at the side. Right, we'll leave it like that. That doesn't look too bad at all. If I stick the shadows back on, you'll see what we've got is that in completely the wrong place. It'll be completely the wrong shape as well, so if I take that, and what on earth is happening here? That and that. Take that. Oh, zoom. Make that. Like that. I know they look the same shape, but they're going to be slightly different. And multiply. Probably about 60. That's going to hopefully make the collar look like it actually has a little bit of depth to it. That ain't so bad. And so the reason why I had the 2012 Away kit open is so I could nick some of the logos, but actually it is this one I'm probably going to want to take them off of, because they were eventually they put the Verve logo inside a box like that. That wasn't the original plan. I think this shirt got launched, maybe you'll be able to find it somewhere online, but I'm sure this shirt got launched when the Verve deal initially got launched. The sponsor was gold. It was just the Verve.net text, and that was gold, but didn't really stand out. That's one of the problems with Kilmarnock tops, is it's difficult for the sponsor to really stand out, and well, it's not what sponsors want. They want it to be as visible as possible, so it ends up us having kits that aren't quite as nice as they could be, but that's football kits for you. Let's stick them on. Probably gonna have to change that Verve logo a little bit. The colours of it look a little bit off. They look lighter in the kit than they actually were in the real one. So let's select all. Colour. Let's go for what? That was blue I clicked on. Make it a little bit lighter up there maybe. Yeah, that's nice. And have I got this as just an outline? Not mesh, do not want that. Yeah. Let's see what that looked like in the real kit. Curves actually on the edge of the sponsor weren't as pronounced, were they? Bring them out a little bit. Wonder if I'll have to change that on the other top. In terms of the size of the stripes, yeah, it's maybe needs to be a little bit bigger. Sort of almost went to the edge of the second blue stripe. So we'll make it just that little bit bigger. That should be centered already. How does that look in reality? A little bit big maybe. Probably was about that size. Then we had these centered. So I imagine it was manufacturer on top, yeah. And that is going to have to be a little bit bigger if we want to make that sort of proportionately correct. Whether we end up thinning the stripes out or not, that looks about okay. I think the badge was totally within it. But I've obviously just ripped this badge off of this season's kit because did not have a white background. Did it have blue scrolls? When did that happen? When did we change from white scrolls to blue scrolls? Ugh, dear. Why are these little bits here white as well? There's something else going on there in that badge. Don't have time for that just now though. So if I go like that, select, same, that's far too dark, that's off the current top. That'll be okay. Make it probably just a little bit bigger. Stick it in the middle between the two of them. That's fine, it's not really popping out, but didn't on the kit. Probably a little bit darker orange. There, that's not quite right on the squirrels. Select the same fill colour, nice and easy. Looked a lot more red, more down, sort of here. I suppose actually what? That looks quite good. Maybe a little bit lighter on that though. Do not like that version of the badge. I think we should really be changing that. Save the squirrels though. Yeah, quite happy with that. Quite happy with that. So that's looking really good now, I think. Probably bring the sponsor down a little bit. Looks all a bit cramped up there. Bring this down a little bit too. And should we go for the shorts? Socks are easy. Copy. Oh, it's gonna have the shadow on it, isn't it? Boop, go away shadow. Get rid of these. I wish I'd never added these. Make it look like a real sock. Gotta get rid of them every time I do something like this. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Dip, dip, dip. Pink bucket. It was, whoa, why have you not moved over as well? That was my fault. I know exactly why that didn't happen. A blue sock? Blue sock? Yes, blue sock. And a white top. And we'll stick that into the socks layer. And we decided it was just 1869 that was at the top of that, didn't we? Can't even see it there. Oh, it's got something in the back. Oh, did it have arrows on the back? It did. It did. It had like Killie written down the back of it, didn't it? With arrows either side. Oh, right. Were they in my original design? No. We gave them permission to do that. I am gonna keep it simple for the sake of argument just now. Probably will have to add that at some point. Just stick the 1869 logo up here. I have to go hunting and see if I can find some good versions, good pictures of the back of those socks, but we'll just stick with that just now. Right, shorts. Same design as what was going on at the bottom of the shirt. The bottom of the shirt had a bloody little bit of piping. Yeah. You go away. No, not all of you, just you. That's really annoying. That is really annoying. Should have spotted that. merge live paint. It was white. Nobody would have even ever noticed that, but it would have laid heavy on my conscience. Tidying up to it in there actually now. Do you know what? Once I get this done, I think that'll be the stream for tonight, because I'm getting tired of it now. That bit of blue made it through the gap. Chop, 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 chop. And if we go back to that, back to there. Why is that not? Oh, because it's the chicken. Die. Yes, I said chicken. Because the shape of this now, that like piece of material isn't actually the same as the one that I had over here, so I need to redo that. If I take these stripes though, that'll be nice and easy. Is that outline still there? Yep, by you there. That needs to be on top of that. Center it. Stick it back on. And that is that problem solved. Stick the shadows back on. And I am going to finish those shorts another day. But for now, I'm going to leave it at that. That's not looking so bad. A lot of things I forgot about it though. I'm supposed to design the blooming thing. Ah, that's good. That's okay. I think the blue looks okay as well. Alright. Excellent. Well, there's only 4 of you in the room at the moment, but thanks for watching that. Maybe do it again. See you later.